12,800 pounds of pressure. That is the force of a single bite. It is enough to explode solid bone into dust. It is enough to crush a modern car like a soda can. For over a century, Hollywood has shown you a monster that roars and chases jeeps. But the truth is far more terrifying and far more fascinating. The real Tyrannosaurus Rex did not roar. He did not run. He stalked, and he ruled the earth with a silence that was heavier than thunder. Before we walk alongside the most dangerous animal to ever exist, please take a moment to support the channel. If you want to uncover the truth of these lost worlds, please like this video and subscribe. It helps us bring the past back to life. I am also curious, where are you watching from tonight, and what time is it there? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's travel back 66 million years. Find a comfortable position. Unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, and close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath in, filling your lungs with calm, and exhale slowly, letting the tension of the modern day fade away. The year is 66 million BC. The location is the humid subtropical delta of what will one day be North America. The forest floor vibrates. It is a rhythmic, low-frequency thrumming that travels through the soles of your feet and settles in your chest. The ferns tremble, shedding droplets of dew. This is not the wind. It is the approach of a 9-ton biological machine. Through the dense wall of dawn redwoods, the giant appears. He moves with a shocking lack of noise, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He stands 13 feet tall at the hip and stretches 40 feet from nose to tail. In the dappled sunlight of the canopy, he looks less like a dragon and more like a bird of prey scaled up to nightmare proportions. His skin is a mosaic of pebbled scales, mottled in earthy browns and olive greens, perfect camouflage for the shifting shadows of the forest. He stops. His massive head, 5 feet of solid bone and muscle, lowers toward the ground. He is not looking, he is smelling. Inside that boxy skull are olfactory bulbs the size of grapefruits. He has the best nose in history. He can smell a rotting carcass from miles away. He can smell the fear of a hidden herbivore. He can smell you. He lifts his head, satisfied that the wind brings no immediate threats. His eyes catch the light. They are small, yellow, and set facing forward. This is a crucial detail. Unlike the plant eaters who have eyes on the sides of their heads to watch for danger, the T-Rex has binocular vision. He sees the world in 3D. He can judge depth and distance with a precision. He opens his mouth to yawn. It is a slow, wide extension of the jaw that reveals the most famous weapon in nature. The teeth are not flat blades like a shark's. They are thick, serrated spikes shaped like bananas. The largest one is 12 inches long, anchored deep in the jawbone. These teeth are not designed to slice meat. They are designed to puncture armor and crush bone. But in this moment, the king is calm. The jaw snaps shut with a heavy, wet sound. He shakes his head, rattling a few flies away from his nostrils. He is simply an animal waking up to the humid afternoon, driven by the basic needs of biology. He turns toward the river. His tail, thick and muscular, swings behind him. It acts as a perfect counterbalance, keeping his massive body horizontal to the ground. He walks on his toes, his heels never touching the earth. The pads of his feet are thick and cushioned, dampening the sound of his steps. The forest parts for him. He does not crash through the trees, he navigates them. He steps over fallen logs with a grace that belies his size. He reaches the bank of a slow-moving, murky river. Crocodile-like ancestors slide silently into the water as he approaches, disappearing into the depths. They know the hierarchy here. He lowers his head to drink. The water is cool, stained brown with tannins from the decaying vegetation.
He takes in water with loud, rhythmic gulps, the muscles in his throat rippling under the thick skin. While he drinks, we can see the scars on his face. There are old, healed scratch marks across his snout, souvenirs from rival males or desperate prey. His life is violent, but right now he is at peace. Sated, he lifts his head, water dripping from his chin. He looks downriver. The sun is beginning to dip lower, casting long shadows across the ferns. This is his time. The twilight is when the ambush predator thrives. His stomach rumbles, a deep, resonant growl that vibrates the air around him. It has been days since his last large meal. He turns back to the forest. He passes a large conifer tree and pauses. He leans his massive flank against the rough bark and rubs back and forth, scratching an itch he cannot reach with his arms. Speaking of arms, there they are, tucked close to his chest. Tiny only in comparison to the rest of him, they are actually incredibly strong, fueled by thick biceps. They possess 2 fingers, each tipped with a sharp claw. They are not useless vestigial limbs, but specialized tools, perhaps used to hold a partner or help him push him. He finishes scratching and lets out a breath, a low huff of air. He steps onto a game trail, a path beaten down by the migration of thousands of hadrosaurs. He moves forward, his yellow eyes scanning the movement of the leaves. The patrol has begun. The king is hunting. The game trail winds deeper into the forest, a tunnel of green carved out by generations of heavy footfalls. The air here is cooler, shaded by the interlocking canopy of sycamores and conifers. The T-Rex moves with a patience that contradicts his hunger. He knows that in this dense environment, speed is secondary to surprise. He is not a marathon runner. He is a sprinter, an ambush specialist who relies on explosive power delivered in a single, devastating moment. He stops frequently. Each pause is a statue-still freeze, lasting for minutes. He listens. His hearing is attuned to low-frequency sounds, the deep thrum of footsteps, the breaking of branches, the chewing of tough vegetation. Ahead, the forest opens up slightly into a clearing dominated by ferns and low-growing palms. The sound of life is louder here. A herd of Edmontosaurus is feeding. They are large, duck-billed herbivores, 30 feet long and weighing several tons themselves. They are the cows of the Cretaceous, moving in large groups for safety, constantly communicating with low honks and bleats that echo through the tree. The T-Rex watches them from the cover of a massive redwood trunk. His mottled skin blends perfectly with the bark and the shadows. He is invisible to them, a ghost in the machine of the ecosystem. He watches a young adult stray slightly from the edge of the herd to reach a particularly succulent fern. The predator calculates the distance. 50 yards. Close, but not close enough. He needs to close the gap. He takes a step. His foot, wide and padded, touches the ground with a rolling motion, toe to heel, absorbing the sound. For a 9-ton animal, he is impossibly quiet. This is the stealth walk of the theropod, a technique refined over eons. He moves only when the wind rustles the leaves, masking his approach with the natural white noise of the forest. 40 yards. The Edmontosaurus lifts its head. It has sensed something, perhaps a shift in the wind or a subtle vibration in the ground. It freezes, a mouthful of ferns hanging from its beak. The rest of the herd goes silent, a ripple of anxiety passing through them like a wave. The T-Rex freezes too. He does not breathe. He stares with those binocular eyes, locking on to the target. The moment stretches, suspended in the amber of time. The herbivore, seeing no movement, relaxes. It lowers its head back to the food.
20 yards. Now.
The explosion of energy is sudden and terrifying. The T-Rex pushes off with his massive leg muscles, tearing up the earth. He accelerates from 0 to 15 miles per hour in just a few strides. The ground shakes violently now, the stealth abandoned for pure kinetic power. The herd panics. The sound of their stampede is like a landslide, a chaotic mix of trumpet calls and crashing timber. The target Edmontosaurus tries to turn, its heavy tail swinging around, but it is too late. The T-Rex is there. He does not use his arms, he leads with his face. The massive jaws open wide, revealing the palisade of banana-sized teeth. He strikes the flank of the herbivore. The impact alone is like being hit by a freight train. The jaws clamp shut, 12,000 pounds of pressure. It is a mechanical efficiency. The teeth puncture the thick hide, drive through the muscle, and shatter the hip bone. The T-Rex does not let go. He uses his massive neck muscles, some of the strongest in the animal kingdom, to shake his head, driving the teeth deeper, anchoring. The struggle is brief. The sheer trauma of the bite overwhelms the herbivore's system. It collapses, dragging the predator down with it for a moment, before the T-Rex releases his grip and steps back. Silence returns to the clearing, heavy and absolute. The rest of the herd has vanished into the tree line, their panic fading into the distance. The T-Rex stands over his prize. He is breathing heavily, his chest heaving to cool his massive body. Steam rises from his flanks in the cooling evening air. He waits. He does not eat immediately. He scans the perimeter, his yellow eyes darting left and right. The smell of blood is already drifting on the wind, a dinner bell for every scavenger in the Hell Creek Formation. He is the king, yes, but he is not the only hungry mouth in the forest. Satisfied that he is alone for now, he begins to feed. The process is not delicate. He uses his front teeth, the scraping incisors, to strip the meat. He swallows huge chunks whole, bone and all. His stomach acid is incredibly potent, a chemical furnace capable of dissolving solid bone to extract the calcium and marrow. As he eats, the sun finally dips below the horizon. The light in the forest turns a deep, bruised purple. The temperature begins to drop, bringing a welcome relief from the oppressive heat of the day. Tiny movements flicker in the shadows around him. Small, feathered dinosaurs, Troodons and dromaeosaurs, have arrived. They are sleek, bird-like creatures with large, intelligent eyes. They keep a safe distance, watching the giant feast, waiting for the scraps that will inevitably be left behind. The T-Rex ignores them. They are beneath his notice, like flies at a picnic. He eats until he is full, consuming hundreds of pounds of meat in a single sitting. This meal will sustain him for days, perhaps a week. Unlike the mammals that will replace him, he does not need to eat constantly to maintain his body heat. He has a slower, more efficient metabolism, a mix of cold-blooded efficiency and warm-blooded activity. Heavy with food, the urge to hunt dissolves, replaced by the urge to rest. He leaves the carcass, which is now little more than a rib cage and scattered bones. The scavengers rush in, a flurry of feathers and chirps, squabbling over the remains. The T-Rex walks away from the clearing. He moves slowly now, the adrenaline of the hunt fading into a pleasant lethargy. He heads toward higher ground, a ridge of sandstone that overlooks the river valley. He prefers to sleep on elevated ground, where the breeze keeps the insects away, and he can survey his domain. The moon rises. It is full and bright, casting a silver sheen over the Cretaceous landscape. He reaches the ridge. The ground here is warm, retaining the heat of the sun in the stone. He prepares to lie down. It is a complex operation for a bipedal giant. He lowers his chest first, using his strong arms to brace against the ground, then tucks his legs beneath him, settling onto his stomach. His long tail curls around him like a cat's. He rests his chin on his front paws. His eyelids, heavy and thick, begin to droop. The forest below him is a sea of black, alive with the sounds of the night, the croaking of frogs, the hooting of owls, the rustle of nocturnal mammals. But up here, on the ridge, it is quiet. The king is asleep. His breathing deepens, becoming a rhythmic, resonant sound that vibrates against the stone. In his sleep, his brain is still active. Is he dreaming? Perhaps. Perhaps he dreams of the hatchlings he once guarded, or the rival he drove away last season. While he sleeps, the world turns. The night air cools further, causing a layer of mist to form in the valley below, a white ocean that drowns the trees. The T-Rex is an island in the mist, a dark, breathing mound of power. He is the ultimate product of his time. For 2 million years, his species has dominated this continent. There is nothing that can challenge him. He has no natural.
But the world is changing. The seasons are becoming more extreme. The inland sea is receding. And far above him, invisible in the night sky, a rock the size of a mountain is hurtling through the vacuum of space on a collision course that has been determined since the dawn of the solar system. The T-Rex sleeps on, unaware that he is living in the final days of an era. He is simply an animal, content in his strength, resting under the stars of a doomed world. The sun returns to the Cretaceous world, not with a sudden burst, but as a slow bleed of pale gold through the mist that shrouds the valley. The air is still cool, holding the moisture of the night, but the promise of the day's heat is already shimmering on the horizon. On the sandstone ridge, the dark mound of the sleeping king begins to stir. Waking up when you weigh 9 tons is a slow process. The Tyrannosaurus Rex opens one yellow eye, the nictitating membrane, a clear inner eyelid, sliding back to clear the grit of sleep. He lets out a long, wheezing exhale, a cloud of steam drifting from his nostrils to mix with the morning fog. He pushes himself up. It is a feat of biomechanical engineering. He plants his small but powerful forearms into the dirt to stabilize his chest, then levers his massive hind legs under his body. With a grunt of effort, the biological mountain rises. He shakes himself, a ripple of muscle running from his neck to the tip of his tail, shedding the dew that has collected on his pebbled skin. He is not hungry today. The massive meal from the evening before sits heavy in his stomach. For the next few days, his energy will be focused inward on the intense metabolic process of digestion. He moves with a lethargic slowness, a sleepy giant content to simply exist. He descends from the ridge, picking his way carefully down the slope. The forest below is waking up. The dawn chorus of the Cretaceous is in full swing, a cacophony of chirps, whistles, and croaks from birds, pterosaurs, and amphibians. But as the T-Rex enters the tree line, the volume drops. The silence of respect follows him wherever he goes. He heads toward a clearing he knows well, a sun trap where the ground is sandy and warm. As he walks, we get a chance to observe the strange duality of his existence. He is a killer, yes, the most fearsome predator to ever walk the earth, but he is also a biological entity that feels the cold, that enjoys the sun, that feels the ache in his joints from years of carrying his own weight. In the clearing, he encounters a ghost of his own past. Standing by a rotting log, tearing at the wood to find grubs, is another tyrannosaur, but this one looks different. It is a juvenile, perhaps 12 years old. It is a sleek, lanky creature built for speed rather than power. Its legs are incredibly long, giving it the appearance of a stork from hell.
Unlike the massive, tank-like adult, this teenager is light, agile, and covered in a coat of fine, downy feathers that shimmer in the morning light, remnants of the plumage all their ancestors once wore. The adult pauses. In many animal kingdoms, this would be a moment of violence, but T-Rex social dynamics are complex. The adult recognizes the juvenile. It might be his own offspring, or perhaps just a member of the extended clan that shares this vast territory. The juvenile freezes, looking up at the 13-foot titan. It lets out a high-pitched chuffing sound, a submissive greeting. The adult responds not with a roar, but with a rumble. He closes his mouth, inflating the throat pouch, and emits a low-frequency vibration. It is a closed-mouth vocalization, similar to the sound an alligator makes, but magnified 100 times. You don't just hear it, you feel it rattling in your chest cavity. It is a sound of acknowledgement, not aggression. The moment passes. The juvenile, secure that it is not on the menu, goes back to investigating the log. This creates a fascinating picture of the ecosystem. The young T-Rexes occupy a completely different niche than the adults. They are the cheetahs of this world, hunting fast, small prey, while the adults are the lions, taking down the slow, heavy giants. They do not compete for food, allowing them to coexist in the same forest. The adult moves on, leaving the teenager to its business. He finds his spot in the sun, a patch of soft sand near a bank of ferns. He lowers himself down again, sprawling out on his side, exposing his massive flank to the warming rays. From this vantage point, he watches the world go by. A few hundred yards away, emerging from the tree line, is the reason the T-Rex evolved to be so powerful. A solitary Triceratops lumbers into view. If the T-Rex is the unstoppable force, the Triceratops is the immovable object. It is a three-horned tank, low to the ground, with a solid frill of bone protecting its neck. It grazes on low-lying palms, its beak snapping through tough stems with ease. The T-Rex watches the herbivore with a lazy, half-closed eye. He is not hunting, and the Triceratops knows it. The herbivore looks up, sees the predator resting, and snorts, but does not flee. There is an uneasy truce between them. They are the two superpowers of the Hell Creek Formation, locked in an evolutionary arms race. The Triceratops got bigger and more armored, so the T-Rex got bigger and developed a stronger bite. They define each other. But today, there is no battle. The heat of the day builds, turning the air into a shimmering haze. Dragonflies land on the T-Rex's back, using him as a basking rock. He is too relaxed to twitch them away. This is the side of the dinosaur we rarely think about, the boredom. Being a top predator involves a lot of waiting, a lot of sleeping, and a lot of doing absolutely nothing. He is conserving energy. His body is a furnace, and in this greenhouse climate, overheating is a real danger. He pants slightly, his mouth open, fluttering his throat to cool the blood flowing to his brain. The wind shifts, blowing from the north. It carries a scent that disturbs the peace. Smoke. The T-Rex lifts his head, his nostrils flare. It is not the chemical scent of a predator, nor the metallic scent of blood. It is the acrid, biting smell of He rumbles, a sound of unease. He stands up, shaking the sand from his side. He is not afraid of other dinosaurs, but fire is a force that respects no king. He moves to the edge of the clearing, looking west. A thin, gray plume is rising against the blue sky. It is far away, miles distant, but his instincts are sharp. He decides to move, not in a panic, but with a steady, directed walk. He will head toward the river delta, where the water is wide and the vegetation is lush and wet. It is a migration of convenience. As he walks, the sounds of the forest change. The birds have gone quiet. The air feels charged, static electricity building up before a shift in the weather. The T-Rex walks with his head low, his tail swinging rhythmically.
He passes a cluster of flowering magnolias, their white petals stark against his dark scales. He is a creature of the earth, tied to the land, the water, and the air. He understands the rhythms of this world better than we ever will. He knows when to hunt, when to sleep, and when to move. He is the master of his domain, walking through a Garden of Eden that is teetering on the edge of extinction. But for now, as he disappears into the deep green shadows of the river valley, he is simply alive, a magnificent breathing giant in a world of wonders. The journey toward the delta takes the king out of the dense canopy of the conifers and into a landscape that feels wider, brighter, and infinitely older. As the trees begin to thin, the ground beneath his feet changes. The soft, mulchy soil of the forest floor gives way to firmer, sandy earth, dotted with hardy shrubs and cycads that rattle in the breeze.
The air changes too. The lingering scent of distant smoke fades, replaced by a smell that is sharp, clean, and briny. It is the smell of salt. We are approaching the Western Interior Seaway, a massive, shallow ocean that splits the North American continent in two, stretching from the Arctic down to the Gulf of Mexico. The T-Rex crests a low dune and the vista opens up. Before him lies a world of water. The sea is a pale turquoise blue, calm and glassy under the afternoon sun. It stretches to the horizon, merging with the sky in a haze of heat. The shoreline is a complex maze of sandbars, estuaries, and mudflats, teeming with life. He walks down the dune, his massive feet sinking slightly into the warm sand. He is not a creature of the ocean. He cannot swim well in deep water, but he knows the edges. He knows that the shore is a place of opportunity. As he walks along the tide line, a shadow falls over him. It is not a cloud. He tilts his head back, one yellow eye rolling skyward. Soaring above him is a creature that defies logic. It is a Quetzalcoatlus, a pterosaur of truly nightmare proportions. With a wingspan of 35 feet, the size of a small airplane, it casts a shadow that engulfs the T-Rex. It is the largest flying animal to ever exist. It circles slowly, riding the thermal currents rising from the warm sand, its long, stiff neck scanning the water for fish or small marine. The T-Rex watches it glide. There is no rivalry here. The pterosaur belongs to the sky, and the Rex belongs to the earth. The giant flyer banks deeply, dipping a wingtip toward the water, and lands on a distant mudflat. When it folds its wings and walks on all fours, it stands as tall as a giraffe, stalking through the shallows with a terrifying stilt-like grace. It is a reminder that in this era, giants are everywhere. The T-Rex continues his patrol along the beach. The rhythmic sound of the waves lapping against the shore is hypnotic. Whoosh, hiss, whoosh, hiss. It is a sound that has remained unchanged for billions of years, a constant lullaby for the planet. Ahead, blocking the easy path along the hard-packed sand, is a low, wide shape. It looks like a boulder that has decided to take a walk. It is an ankylosaurus. This is a living fortress. It is squat, wide, and covered from nose to tail in thick, bony armor plates called osteoderms. Even its eyelids are armored. At the end of its tail sits a massive club of fused bone, a weapon capable of shattering the leg of even a tyrannosaur. The ankylosaurus is grazing on a patch of low-growing ferns near the dunes. It hears the T-Rex approaching. It does not run. It cannot run. Instead, it hunkers down. It digs its feet into the sand, lowering its center of gravity. It swings its tail slowly back and forth, a warning pendulum. Swish, swish. The T-Rex stops. He looks at the armored tank. He is hungry, but he is not stupid. His brain, while small by mammalian standards, is highly evolved for risk assessment. He knows that attacking an ankylosaurus is a gamble. One bad strike from that tail could break a shin bone, and a broken leg for a 9-ton predator is a death sentence. He calculates the risk and the reward. The reward is a meal that is hard to get to. The risk is death. The math is simple. He lets out a soft chuff, a dismissal. He steps carefully around the ankylosaurus, giving the swinging tail a wide berth. The herbivore watches him pass, its beady eyes suspicious, but it does not strike. The tension dissolves as the distance grows. The T-Rex chooses the path of least resistance, a sign of a seasoned survivor. He finds a spot where a freshwater river bleeds into the sea. The water here is cool and brackish. He walks into the shallows, the water rising to his knees. He stands there for a long time, letting the cool current rush past his legs, soothing the ache in his joints and cooling his blood. Small fish dart around his toes, flashing silver in the light. This is a rare moment of vulnerability. If you were standing on the shore looking at this scene, it would not look like a monster movie. It would look like a nature documentary. A tired animal cooling off on a hot afternoon. He dips his snout into the water, splashing himself, shaking his head to send a spray of droplets flying into the air. Rainbows form in the mist around him. The sun begins to lower, turning the turquoise water into a sheet of hammered copper. The heat of the day finally breaks, replaced by a gentle onshore breeze that ruffles the few proto-feathers. He wades back out of the water, his wet skin glistening like polished leather. He heads for a cluster of palm trees near the dunes, a place that offers both a view of the sea and protection from the wind. He tramples down a patch of vegetation, circling twice before settling down. He lowers his body onto the sand, which is still warm from the sun. He stretches his legs out, his tail curving around to protect his flank. From here, he can watch the sun touch the horizon. The sky turns a brilliant, violent violet, streaked with bands of orange and pink. The beach is quieting down. The Quetzalcoatlus has taken off again, disappearing into the clouds. The Ankylosaurus has moved into the brush. There is only the T-Rex and the ocean. As he lies there, his breathing slows. The heavy rise and fall of his ribcage matches the rhythm of the waves. He is at the peak of his power, the ruler of a continent, resting on the edge of a world that is teeming with life. He closes his eyes, listening to the call of seabirds and the eternal motion of the water, drifting into a light, watchful doze as the stars begin to prick the purple sky. Night has fully claimed the coastline. The violet hues of twilight have deepened into a rich, velvety black, stretching seamlessly from the ocean to the sky. Without the interference of artificial light, the heavens are a crowded, glittering spectacle. The Milky Way is not just a smudge, it is a bright, textured river of diamond dust arching over the sleep. On the dunes, the T-Rex rests. He is a dark silhouette against the stars, motionless except for the slow, rhythmic expansion of his ribs. The heat of the day has leached out of the sand, and a cool, salty breeze rushes in from the sea, ruffling the bristle-like filaments on his neck. In the shallows of the ocean nearby, the water begins to glow. Bioluminescent algae, disturbed by the gentle tide, ignite with a ghostly blue light. Each wave that breaks on the shore carries a crest of neon fire. It is a surreal, magical scene. The glowing blue water, the silver starlight, and the sleeping giant. But the king is not fully asleep. His brain is cycling through states of alertness. Something in the air wakes him. It is not a scent, and it is not a sound. It is a biological imperative, a hormonal shift that tells him it is the season to find a mate. He rises slowly. Sand cascades off his flanks as he stands to his full height. He looks magnificent in the starlight, a creature of pure power. He turns inland, facing the dark wall of the forest he left earlier. He needs to signal his presence. He needs to speak. Hollywood would have you believe that he throws his head back and lets out a deafening, open-mouthed roar. But the reality is far more eerie and far more impressive. He keeps his mouth shut. He lowers his head slightly.
The sound begins. It is not a scream. It is a low-frequency rumble, an infrasonic boom that is barely audible to the human ear, but creates a physical pressure wave in the air. If you were standing next to him, you wouldn't just hear it. Your bones would rattle. Your lungs would vibrate. It is a sound like the deepest note of a pipe organ or the rumble of thunder just before the storm hits. This sound travels. It ignores the trees, passes through the rocks, and rolls over the landscape for miles. It is a message that carries information about his size, his health, and his location. He waits. His head is cocked to the side, listening. Minutes pass. The sound of the ocean fills the void. Then, from miles away, deep in the interior of the floodplains, a reply comes. It is faint, a ghostly vibration in the air. It is a female. She is larger than him. Females of the species often are, and her call is deeper, heavier. He does not move toward her immediately. The courtship of titans is a slow, dangerous dance, but he marks the direction. He lets out a soft chuff, a sound of satisfaction. He walks a few paces down the beach, his feet splashing in the glowing bioluminescent water, leaving footprints of blue fire that fade seconds later. He decides not to return to the forest tonight. The open beach offers safety and a clear view. He settles back down, but this time he faces inland, watching the tree. High above, a star falls. It streaks across the sky, burning bright green before fizzling out. Then another, and another. A meteor shower is passing overhead. The T-Rex watches them with mild curiosity. He has seen falling stars before. They are just lights in the sky, harmless and distant. He does not know that these are the heralds. He does not know that among the rocks floating in the dark void of space, there is one that is not burning up. There is one distinct jagged mountain of iridium and rock, 6 miles wide, that has been silently falling toward him for millions of years. It is currently passing the orbit of the moon, closing the distance at 40,000 miles per hour. But for now, there is peace. The T-Rex closes his eyes again. The night passes in a slow, comfortable drift. The wind dies down. The bioluminescence fades as the tide slackens. The world feels suspended, held in a breath of perfect, fragile stillness. The transition to morning is strange. Usually, the dawn brings a cacophony of sound, the dawn chorus. But today, the silence stretches out. The air is heavy, stagnant. The birds are quiet. The insects are subdued. Even the waves seem to lap at the shore with less energy. The sun rises, but it looks hazy. The atmosphere is thick with static. Animals possess a sensitivity to barometric pressure that humans lack, and every nerve ending in the T-Rex's body is tingling. He stands up, shaking off the sand. He feels irritable, restless. He looks at the ocean one last time. A school of ammonites, shelled squid-like creatures, are floating near the surface, their spiral shells bobbing in the water. A mosasaur, a 50-foot marine reptile, breaches the surface in the distance, exhaling a spout of mist before diving back into the dark depths. The T-Rex turns his back on the sea. He begins the walk back toward the forest, back toward the female he heard in the night. He is driven by life, by the instinct to continue his line. He crosses the dunes and enters the tree line. The shadows are deep here. He walks past the ankylosaurus he avoided yesterday. The tank-like herbivore is hunkered down, refusing to eat, its eyes wide and nervous. It senses the change too. The T-Rex reaches a small clearing where a stream bubbles up from the ground. He lowers his head to drink. The water is cool, sweet. He pauses, water dripping from his jaws. He looks up at the sky. It is a beautiful morning. The sky is a piercing, impossible blue. The sun is warm on his back. The leaves of the sycamores are turning gold in the light. It is the perfect picture of a paradise that has lasted for 160 million years. He takes a step forward, crushing a fern under his weight. He does not know that this is the last morning of the Mesozoic era. He does not know that the clock has run out. He lifts his head, sniffing the air, and then he sees it. High in the sky to the southeast, a second sun appears. It is a brilliant, blinding point of white light, brighter than the sun itself. It grows larger with every heartbeat. It is not moving across the sky like the sun. It is getting bigger, falling, growing from a star to a ball. The T-Rex stares at it. For the first time in his life, he feels something akin to confusion. The shadows on the ground become sharp and double-edged, cast by two light sources. The birds in the canopy suddenly take flight, a massive, panicked explosion of wings that darkens the sky. The king stands alone in the clearing, watching the end of the world approach. He does not run. There is nowhere to run. He simply stands, a witness to history, as the sky begins to burn. The light arrives in absolute silence. Physics dictates that light travels faster than sound, and so the initial moment of the impact is eerily quiet. The second sun in the southern sky flares with a brilliance that erases all shadows. It is a blinding, magnesium-white flash that turns the lush green forest into a landscape of stark, bleached high contrast. For a few seconds, the world is overexposed, washed out in a bath of cosmic radiation. The T-Rex blinks, his nictitating membranes sliding across his eyes to protect them from the glare. He does not understand what he is seeing. To him, the sun has simply fallen. The heat hits him a moment later, not a burning fire, but a sudden, radiant warmth, like opening the door of an oven. It presses against his scales, dry and intense. The forest holds its breath. The insects stop buzzing. The wind stops blowing. Every living thing, from the smallest mammal to the largest triceratops, is frozen in a tableau of confusion. They are waiting for the thunder. But the impact has happened thousands of miles away, in what is today the Yucatan Peninsula. The sound is still traveling, racing across the continent at the speed of sound, but it will take time to arrive. For several minutes, there is only the light and the silence. It is a surreal, suspended moment. The sky begins to change color, shifting from the familiar blue to a bruised, sickly violet, and then to a deep, angry red, as the atmosphere begins to burn. Then, the ground betrays them. The seismic waves arrive before the sound. The earth beneath the T-Rex's feet, which has been solid and dependable for his entire life, turns to liquid. The ground rolls. It is a violent, nausea-inducing undulation, like a rug being snapped by a giant hand. Trees that have stood for centuries are uprooted in an instant, crashing down with silent puffs of dust. The T-Rex stumbles. His massive legs, designed for stability, scramble for purchase on the shifting soil. He drops to his chest, pressing his belly against the vibrating earth. He lets out a low, involuntary huff of air. Around him, the forest is in motion, swaying and buckling. And then, the sound arrives. It is not a single bang. It is a wall of pressure. It is a roar so deep and so loud that it is felt more than heard. It sounds like the sky is tearing open. The shockwave hits the forest with the force of a hurricane. Leaves are stripped from the branches. Smaller trees are snapped like matchsticks. The T-Rex closes his eyes, tucking his head down against the lee side of a fallen log. The wind howls over him, carrying with it the scent of sulfur, burning ozone, and pulverized rock. His thick skin protects him from the flying debris, the twigs and gravel that scour the landscape. He is a rock in the stream of history, hunkered down, enduring the unendurable. The blast wave passes, moving north to flatten the rest of the continent, but the calm does not return.
The sky begins to darken. The debris from the impact, trillions of tons of rock and dust blasted into the upper atmosphere, is blocking out the sun. The day turns to twilight, and then to a deep, choking gloom. But it is not a dark night, it is a glowing one. As the debris re-enters the atmosphere, friction turns the rock into meteors. The sky fills with falling stars. Millions of tiny glowing spherules of molten glass begin to rain down. They streak across the darkness like a shower of golden sparks. The T-Rex rises. The wind has died down, but the air is getting hot. The rain of fire is beginning. He feels the tiny, hot stinging of the glass beads hitting his back. He knows he needs cover. The open clearing is no longer safe. He moves with a heavy, tired gait. The forest is unrecognizable. The landmarks are gone, hidden by fallen timber and the swirling gray dust that now coats everything. He heads for the river valley, instinctively seeking the water, seeking the caves and overhangs of the canyon walls. He is not alone. The other dinosaurs are moving too. A herd of pachycephalosaurs, dome-headed dinosaurs, runs past him, their panic evident in their erratic movements. But the T-Rex does not hunt. The predator-prey drive has been suspended. In the face of a catastrophe of this magnitude, all animals are equal. They are just surviving. He reaches a limestone overhang near the riverbank, a place where the cliff juts out to form a natural roof. He pushes his way into the shadows, pressing his back against the cool rock wall. From here, he watches the world unravel. The temperature spikes. The friction of the falling debris is heating the atmosphere globally. The forest begins to smoke. Dry leaves, touched by the falling sparks, ignite. Small fires start to flicker in the undergrowth, orange tongues tasting the air. The T-Rex lies down. He is exhausted, his senses overwhelmed by the noise, the heat, and the shaking earth. He curls his tail around his nose, filtering the dust-filled air through his nostrils. He closes his eyes, shutting out the red glow of the burning horizon. He does not know that the reign of the dinosaurs is over. He does not know that the dust will hang in the air for months, choking the plants, starving the herbivores, and eventually starving the carnivores. He does not know that 75% of life on Earth will vanish in the coming years. All he knows is that he is tired. He is safe for the moment, tucked away in the stone. He listens to the hiss of the falling embers and the distant rumble of the burning world. He breathes in, slowly and deeply, clinging to the rhythm of life in a world that is rapidly dying. He sleeps, not because he is at peace, but because it is the only refuge left. The king rests,